Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chef Mario DiMartino from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, checking in with you now with this week's episode. It is my pleasure to bring forth this great dish to you. You know, you may have your own version of it, but this one here is a little unique. I'm going to show you some special techniques. It's an Italian-American favorite dish that you probably want to tune back in a few minutes to learn how to do this if you've never tried it. It's the world-famous eggplant Parmesan by Chef Mario. Come back in a few minutes to show you how it's all going to be made.
I am St. Michael's. I am St. Michael's. I am St. Michael's.
You want the best for your child. At St. Michael the Archangel School, we want the best for our students, offering structure, a challenging curriculum, and individualized attention based in faith to develop the whole person, mind, body, and spirit.
I am St. Michael's.
I am St. Michael's.
I
am St. Michael's.
Back in the kitchen here with Chef Mario in Nazareth. Thanks for tuning in. I'll tell you, this dish here this morning, this afternoon here, filming here, is very, very special to me. I really had a lot of reservations on sharing it with you, not because I want to be selfish, but because it's one of my all-time favorites, and someone said you shouldn't really share everything that you know or everything you want to do, but you have to keep a few secrets behind. But this one I just had to share with the general public because, hey, you never know. I might not be here tomorrow, and maybe there's something I can impart to the general public or to other cooks out there that would benefit them in terms of this dish. My grandmother showed me this dish 40 years ago, and it has absolutely become one of my signature, probably not my only signature dish to date that I really make well. I'm very proud of it, and it's eggplant Parmesan. Now, I know I'm not the first guy to make eggplant Parmesan, and I know you have your variation of it, or you go to your favorite pizzeria and they got some rendition of it. I get it. It's not a pride thing. It's just, this is my thing, and I want to share with you techniques that I've developed over a 30, 40-year period to show you how to make the ultimate eggplant Parmesan. That's my goal today, is to impart to you just an over-the-top recipe of eggplant parm. You know, great fruit, believe it or not. Great product. Not the most versatile in terms of, you know, multiple uses, interchangeability in the kitchen. You can bake it, you can fry it, you can marinate it and pickle it. You know, they have it in gardenia salads in Italy a little bit. But the eggplant parm is really, you know, the mother lode of ways to use eggplant. Well, obviously we have eggplant rollatini, which this is not rollatini. And this is the parm, you know. And so what makes this process special is that there's a series of events that has to occur to make the ultimate. And this is why restaurants don't typically do this, because it's always on the fly. It's got to be for this amount of dollars, and it's got to be user-friendly to the average cook. But this is a little more advanced in regards to the intensity of the application. So there's a few steps here. I'm going to show you how to prep it. I'm going to show you how to cook it. I'm going to show you how to bake it, put it together. I'm going to show you how to chill it. I'm going to show you how to take it out. I'm going to show you how to portion it. I'm going to show you how to either freeze it or prepare it for tomorrow's meal and stack it up and make it look really nice for your plate. Here we go. But the first thing we got to do is we got to get a sauce going for the eggplant parm. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this large can of tomatoes here. You can use your any favorite crushed tomato. I'll put the rear burner on so I can get the sauce going. We're going to use a large can. This is a number 10, like this, a restaurant application here, because when I'm done with this, I'm not just going to toss it. I'm going to use it at the restaurant. So you're going to use a nice crushed tomato product. I would prefer you to use either a San Marzano tomato, you know, something from Italy, if you can afford that. It's a little hard to get. In this case, you know, you want to use the best California style. I wish Pennsylvania made the best tomatoes. They don't. I love PA. I love to support them. I'm going to take this off because I'm not necessarily advocating one particular brand. That just fell off anyway. Okay, so we got these tomatoes here. Beautiful, beautiful tomatoes. Here we go. You want to use a California-based tomato, Sacramento, Modesto area. They got the beautiful acidity. It really replicates the old world, you know, European process. You're gonna need some garlic, obviously. So we're gonna chop this garlic up kind of quick without taking fingertips off. And we're making what's called like a azuga di tavola. You know, it's a basic table sauce. You know, it has a general application. It's not necessarily a ravioli sauce. It's not a marinara. It's not a bolognese. It's not a ragu. It's a azuga di tavola, sauce of the table. You know, Grandmom kind of showed me this process years ago too. It's very simple to make. Get your garlic kind of fine. If you like your garlic chunky, you can do that too. You know, in this case, I'll try to make it as fine as possible. So, yeah, I really love this dish. You know, it's got a lot of history to it with my family. You know, maybe yours too. You go back to the old school days in the city, New York, Philadelphia, Jersey, wherever you're from. You know, we're in the Northeast. I'll talk about those cities. And somebody's relative or your mom or somebody made the rendition of this dish, and it's classic. I mean, it's a great vegetarian dish. I mean, if you're not into the meat thing, you know, the sausage and everything on Sunday with the gravy, you know, this is certainly, you know, a good alternative for that. So, got that garlic here going. We're gonna go right into that saucepan. Looks like she's ready. Nice garlic and beautiful coating of olive oil over there. Good oil. Don't use garbage oil. If you don't like the way it's coming out with the oil, you can always add a little more oil. No one is going to be upset. Give her a little swish around. There we go. Get the garlic off the lip. Turn it down just a bit. Don't burn the garlic, obviously. Grandmom showed me this years ago. I got this oil going here because I'm going to use that for the eggplant in a minute, but I wanted to kind of preheat it. I got the oven on 350 as well because I'm going to bake off the parm. So for the ingredients, we need some beautiful mozzarella cheese. You don't want cheese that's got this modified food starch in it. It's best to get a block of cheese, in which I did here, and grind your own cheese or shred it, because you buy that prepackaged stuff in the bag, I'm telling you, they put sawdust in it. It's terrible. You got to watch out for these people. There's a lot of tricksters in the food business. You want whole milk Parmesan cheese. I got Pecorino Romano here, you know, and I've got Formaggio Parmigiano, Parmesan cheese, eggs, prezzemolo, parsley. Obviously, I got some ricotta, milk, breadcrumbs, and the world famous eggplant fruit ready to go. But we got to get the sauce going first. So what we're going to do, we got the garlic rendered down pretty good. We're going with the number 10 can. Now you can use a smaller can, obviously, and adjust that sauce according to how you like it, as far as the amount you need. Now I'm going to be cooking a tray of eggplant parm. It's kind of like a smaller tray. This is a meal that I normally cook large portions of for the restaurant because it's really requested. The eggplant parm is really requested. When I have it on hand at the store, it sells out in a few days. I got a little sauce I splattered there. So this is something that you can keep on hand once you're done. You can freeze it. You know, it can last in the refrigerator 2-3 days. As far as that amount of number 10 can, you're going to put a nice heaping tablespoon of salt in there like that. We got the garlic in there. You do need a little sugar typically for this gravy recipe. I got the sugar bowl here. You can put a tablespoon and a half of sugar in there. If you want to spike it up with a little bit more garlic powder, that's fine. Don't go crazy with the basil and all that stuff. You don't need that. This is a very simple sauce, and we're gonna turn it up a little bit so it reduces. And you don't want to kill this sauce. The more you cook this sauce down, it takes away the flavor of the tomato, and that's not what you want. You want the sauce is already cooked in the can. You want that bursting tomato flavor to maintain as much as possible. Okay, so now we got the sauce going. It's really a basic sauce. I showed you. A little salt, a little garlic powder, a little bit of sugar. Let's go back to the eggplant. That's kind of one of the most important part of this process. Here we go. What you want to do is you want to get at least 2 or 3 of these good eggplants. You want to cut this unsightly top off. I've already washed it, but I got this label here. The last thing you want is someone to bite in their eggplant and it says, you know, made in California on the sticker. Not too good. And when you're cutting down an eggplant, you know, here's what I like to do, because it's annoying when you're frying, is I want to cut the very edge of the eggplant off. I want to kind of like do like the logging technique where they kind of square off the edges. You get rid of that. And now you could go this way with the eggplant and disquettes, but it's a little more tedious because you got to do a lot more frying, more handling. I tend to go this way. Now when I'm in the deli, I'll take the eggplant and put it on the slicer, because I do about, you know, just to give you an idea. You know, I make eggplant like 2 or 3 trays of this at a time, and be honest with you, it takes me about 4 hours. It's a long time, and because there's a lot of love in this product. It's not an easy meal to make in regards to like shortness of time. It's not something you're going to slap together while your husband's at work. You know, it's to make this really good. It takes like a day and a half. But as you can see, get yourself a nice sharp knife, and you can sort of work your way down. You can fudge it and make your own diameters here. You're looking for a 1/4 inch roughly. Are they all the same? Not necessarily, but they're close. And the reason why you want to keep it at a 1/4 inch and uniform is because when you're frying, one might not make it, is because when you're frying, you don't want different cooking times on each piece of eggplant, because you can burn one and you can make the other one not as, you know, not as done in the middle, and then it becomes problematic when you bite into it. So 2 biggest offenses with eggplant: overcooking it and undercooking it. You want to be able to have it right in the middle where it belongs. I'm checking my oil, I'm checking my sauce. There's kind of, you don't have to do all this at the same time. Just for the show purposes, I've got this multitasking going on. It's a little nerve-wracking. Excellent. Okay, next thing you want to do is we need a couple eggs. You want, for this amount of eggplant, just 2 eggs will suffice. Okay? You want to pour some milk in there. You got your egg mixture. Simple fork or whisk will do. Make sure she's in there consistently. You're going to need breadcrumb. I've shown you the type of breadcrumb you might want to use, like Italian seasoned type breadcrumb. In this case, I already have breadcrumb at your disposal, already in the little Jiffy pan here. So you want to move this excess parsley over here. Maybe put the breadcrumb there, depending what system you want to use. Now this is how I do it. You're gonna bread your eggplant in this case. You take a nice piece, you go into the wash. One hand is in the egg, the other hand is in the breadcrumb. And you're gonna lightly bread it. And then you're gonna quasi-finished product right there. One hand in the batter, the other hand in the crumb. Now I'm going to speed up the process. I'm not going to sit here and show you how to, you know, or demonstrate breading all this stuff, you know, in bulk, because it's redundant. At any rate, but what a great product. Grandmom showed me this 40 years ago. Over the years, I've kind of worked on some techniques that kind of improved it. Won a lot of church cook-offs with this Parmesan. You know, various churches I went to and little cooking contests and stuff. People really, they enjoy the way this is made. And it's not really like a rollatini. Like a rollatini, you know, is more of a quick rendition of this, because it's using the same ingredients. You know, you're using, you know, eggplant, you're using ricotta, you know, and a breading process, baking. And that's kind of like the pizzeria on the fly version. And I'm not bad on it, but it's not really the gourmet thick lasagna piece of high-end food that you want to sell somebody or impress your guests with. Sauce is rendering down just a little bit. I'm warming it. The last thing you want to do is put eggplant together with cold sauce. You don't want cold eggplant, cold sauce in the oven. It doesn't work. It takes too long, and there's a scientific process I'll talk about later. So you want to get your eggplant, and you want to test the waters, if you will. You want it on medium heat, and you want to see, when you get those little bubbles like that, you know she's about ready. And you want to have enough oil in the pan where you're going to submerge the eggplant. If you have oil that's too low or shallow in diameter, it doesn't cover the eggplant, your eggplant is going to absorb more oil. So you want to put your eggplant in a submersive process there. You know, maybe I'll just cook a couple of them right there, just to give you an idea, because I don't want to cloud the pan up too much. Okay. All right, so we got those rolling. You're going to go about 6, 7 minutes on each side. You only want to flip once. You don't want to handle these a lot because you don't want to disturb the breading on them. So the goal is not to undercook it and not to overcook it, right in the middle. The worst thing you can have in eggplant parm is to cut into a parm and have a piece of rubber eggplant where you can't even cut it with a knife. Very offensive. A lot of people bake eggplant. I don't really see the culinary magic in it. It just doesn't do the eggplant justice. You've got to fry the eggplant. And I leave the skin on, as you see. Skin adds flavor, it adds body, it adds texture, and that's really what you want to do, is add those components to the melanzane parmigiano. So, she's working. We got the sauce working. We're going to come back in a few minutes and we're going to show you how to put it all together in step number 2 of Eggplant Parmesan by Chef Mario.
I am St. Michael's. I am St. Michael's.
I am St. Michael's.
You want the best for your child. At St. Michael the Archangel School, we want the best for our students, offering structure, a challenging curriculum, and individualized attention based in faith to develop the whole person, mind, body, and spirit.
I am St. Michael's.
I am St. Michael's.
I
am St. Michael's.
No fatelo la melanzane troppo bruciata, you know, don't make the eggplant too burnt, okay? You want it simmering, you want it to be like meaty and soft and juicy and tender, no crispy and no Michelin tire rubber, right in the middle. So we got 4, 5, 6 minutes on each side. You'll know when she's done because she starts to extract this juice that bubbles out in the middle. And then I'll show you, there's actually a technique of taking it out and laying it, because this is, you know, to an Italian or anybody that really admires food, this is a labor of love here. This is a delicate process. It's like working with jewelry, you know, it's really good stuff. So you got to make it just right. All right, so the gravy is going back here, nice basic gravy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put, ultimately we're going to put the eggplant in one of these trays. This is a step down version of the restaurant tray. Okay, so we're gonna bake it right in here. I prefer stainless steel. It's nice to work with. Let me see if I have a ladle handy. Should have had that ready before I started the show. I got one right here. There's a ladle. All right, so we're gonna come over here. We're gonna get a base of sauce in the bottom. Don't be bashful with the sauce. You want a base, and here's why. This base, there's a cooking process when the eggplant goes in the oven, and the more sauce you have, the more it's going to cook that eggplant, and they just kind of gel together. Ultimately, this meal takes 2 days. If you really want to make it and marinate it and let it cure the correct way, now these are ready. You're going to get 2 eggplant at one time, one to save you some trouble of pulling them in and out, and you're going to hold them, and you just got to sit there patiently and let the oil dry. The worst thing you want is a greasy eggplant in your design, in your casserole, because at the bottom of the pan you'll have this leftover residual grease. It's just not good if you don't do it right. So you're going to get all the residual oil off. I use vegetable oil here, by the way. Any will do. You don't have to use olive oil. Obviously it's expensive and it doesn't fry just right. So we're going to lay that right on the paper towel. You're going to need that. And then this is really important. As soon as you pull it out, you want to salt it just a little bit like that. There's a reason, because the moisture of the eggplant is going to take the salt into the fibers of the plant. And it's going to give it that good taste. So that's really the best time to salt it is when it first comes out. So with that said, I'm going to put the sauce here because you want the sauce close to your manufacturing. Okay, it's like an assembly line of sorts, okay? And you're going to pick, if you will. All right, so we've got the ricotta. You can use any kind of ricotta, but make sure it's a high quality, okay? Your favorite. This is how it's going to go. You're going to get your eggplant. In this case, I have some pre-cooked eggplant already made. I didn't want to spend days making eggplant in front of you. You're going to layer the eggplant in the corner of your pan. You're going to cover all the real estate possible. This is really important. You don't want any gaps. In this case, we got that. Maybe right here. Don't be afraid to overlap it. Make enough eggplant where you don't have to be cheap about it. You know, if you overlap it, it actually makes the eggplant, it gives it more depth, and it ensures that you won't have leakage into each layer. Okay, so now you've got all your real estate covered. Here's secret number one: is you want to get the pan and you want to give it a light tap. Okay, now you're going to go back to the gravy again. It's tedious, but it's worth it, I promise you. You're going to get the gravy applied liberally in there. You're going to get a pointed spoon and you're going to spread it out to each corner. You're going to make sure the corners get the gravy because it's going to seep down per level and it's going to lubricate the pan on the sides so the eggplant doesn't stick. Okay? Gentle tapping process for settlement. Okay? You're going to get your, remember, hands are tools, right? And if you wash your hands with hot water and sanitizer, it's better than any tool on the planet. God gave them to you. Don't be afraid to use them. There's no other way to do this but this. You're going to get a pinch of ricotta, and you're going to evenly put that ricotta in there. You don't want to cover the whole thing with ricotta. It's overkill because when it melts, it's going to spread itself out evenly in the pan. So you're going to intermittently place the ricotta. Now you could put the mozzarella first as a base, but it's either or. How you say, non importa, you know? So now you get the idea of how the ricotta goes in. Rinse hands. Back to the cheese factor. Then we're going to lightly sprinkle. You're not going to go crazy with this because remember, you got 3 or 4 layers. And remember, the thicker you can make this Parmesan in tallness, the more appealing it is, and it just has a royal look to it when it's done. Then you're going to get Pecorino Romano per layer, and you're going to get the fresh parsley per layer. You're going to hold the parsley in the air, and you're going to use a wiggling effect with your fingers, and that gives it like this seed spreader effect, because you don't want all your parsley gathered in one section and not distributed properly. Okay? Now if you wanted to add, again, a little bit of Parmigiano to it, because after all, it is eggplant Parmigiano. Okay? Now, again, back to the settlement. Remember, it's like you're making cement, and you're pushing your trowel into the cement, you're getting the voids out of the cement. It's the same thing with this, except for the eggplant is the cement, and the ricotta is the cement, and the eggplant is the rebar. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're layer number 2. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get this fresh eggplant we just got here. Look at that. Oh, that is so gorgeous. There's nothing better than golden brown eggplant. Cover all the real estate you can, okay? Don't let any gaps in there. And we're gonna continue our create. Don't be afraid to get a piece of eggplant and cut it like you're doing like a patchwork. It's not a problem. I don't have to do this in this case because I have plenty of eggplant. And so it doesn't matter if it's oblong or in this case here like that. So we've covered all of that. Let me wipe my hands again. Back to the gravy, liberal amounts of gravy. Oh, you gotta smell this garlic and gravy. It's so luxurious. This is one of the finest Italian kind of foods you can make. It's just really, for those people who like eggplant, There's no other way to make it but like this. Okay, so we've got those corners covered again, and we're just repeating that layered process over and over again. We're bouncing down to get settlement. I'll be back in 30 seconds to show you the finished product before it goes in the oven.
I am St. Michael's. I am St. Michael's.
I am St. Michael's.
You want the best for your child. At St. Michael the Archangel School, we want the best for our students. Offering structure, a challenging curriculum, and individualized attention based in faith to develop the whole person, mind, body, and spirit.
I am St. Michael's.
I am St. Michael's.
I
am St. Michael's.
Back for the last part of the episode on how to put the finished product together. It should look like this. We gave it the pat down. It's all settled in. You're going to put it on 350 for an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. Nice steel container, put the lid on it, no aluminum foil. If you put aluminum foil, put the saran wrap on first, seal it, then aluminum foil, so there's no reaction with the cheese. You don't get the aluminum particulates in your food. There's a health conscious issue here. If you can do it, either use a casserole dish with a glass top, or right there, steel, that never interacts, stainless, right in the oven, okay? So we're in the oven with that. Now, what I want to do in the meanwhile is I want to take out last night's version of the eggplant parm that I put together while we were anticipating this episode, and there she is. She's kind of the cooked off version. It looks a little, you know, it might look a little not so fresh, but this is the finished product. And so we're going to get the knife and we're going to unseal it from its tomb, if you will. We're going to release it hopefully, and it's going to cooperate with us in the show here and not make me look completely foolish. I hope it does. Typically at the restaurant it does. So I may have put a little too much time in this one in the oven, but we'll see. So I've got a cookie sheet that at least fits the diameter, and you're going to get kind of aggressive with this. Don't be afraid. Let's just hope it works out. Say a prayer. Here we go. We're going to do the flipsy doodle. Okay? Then we're going to give it a little bacala on the back. Spanking the hiney like a little bad kid. Grandma used to do that too. All right. And what we're doing, we're releasing the eggplant from the base. I think I got most of it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my spatula. Let's hope it came out nice. Oh, she cooperated. Benissimo. Look at that. There's a little bit of residual left over. It's like the carne machinada, you know, the breadcrumb. There's a little bit of that. Then you're going to reshape you're pointing the cement again. Remember that cement Italian thing? You're going to repoint the mixture again here in the final process. And I'll show you what I do at the restaurant you might find favor with. You're going to divide your eggplant into the portions you think are necessary per person. So in this case, I want to make the portions generous. So I'm going to get 9 pieces out of this, like a tic-tac-toe puzzle. So I'm going to go 1 and 2, okay? So we're going to go 1 across. See, when it's chilled overnight like that, it solidifies. Now you've got a product that you can really work with. Because when it's hot, you'll never accomplish this. Don't ever try this at home. So you want to divide it this way. This is what it gives that eggplant elegance, okay? And I'm sorry, not 9, but 6. I can't even count. Here's 6 beautiful slices like that. Cut it in. See how it's cut perfectly all the way around? You gotta go all the way through. You're gonna do a flip. Look at that. That's the product you want. This is the gorgeous eggplant that's cold and it's formed perfectly. It's got this beautiful, elegant lasagna thing to it. No meat, you know, totally vegetarian. And you're gonna put it in its own little enclosure here like that. Look at that. Maybe that wasn't the prettiest of drizzles, but you kind of get the idea that you want that stacking and that layering. Look at the cheese melding. Look at the eggplant and its brick layers and all the love and the flavor. The ricotta and the pecorino romano and that fresh parsley. Never use dry parsley, fresh parsley. And you get the idea with the cold finished product for future freezing, the fresh product for your table, garlic bread, some greens, your favorite glass of red wine. I'm Chef Mario. I share this delightful dish from you. Thank you, Grandmom DiMartino, for inspiring me to make this great dish. I hope you enjoy it. Bon appetit to you. Stop by and see me at the deli sometime. God bless you. Have a great week. We'll see you next episode.